Hey, what's going on YouTube? And welcome to Coffee Shop Chatter with Mr. Controversy, where we talk about things that people normally talk about in the coffee shop. So, as everyone know, uh, President Biden dropped out the race. I don't know why he didn't do it, but he dropped out. Now, what's funny is Vivek Ramaswamy, he said it. These are the things that he said, and you can go back to some of his interviews that he's given. He said after the debate, the way Biden performed, that President Trump would need to beef up his security because he said he kind of feared for his life. There was a lot of people that said that would be the next thing that people say they was worried. PVD, all those guys on his panel, a lot of people were saying it. I even said it. I was like, yeah, because I know the history of this government. I've worked for the government long enough, and I know the things that we're capable of doing, and we will go to no extent. Like there is no line we would not cross. The United States, is habitual line steppers. There is no line that we wouldn't cross to get the end result of what we want. So that was to knock Trump off. They failed at that. And I listened to the audio. There was three different gunshots from three different weapons. One had like a suppress type sound, like it was back in the hide. One was a little further up. One did sound suppressed, and then you had the actual shooter. So there was three different gunshots before the anti-sniper took his shot. So somebody screwed the pooch. Well, they screwed the pooch. Either they shot too early or something went wrong with that. They couldn't get him that way. And Vivek said it. They're going to come up with some excuse, some ailment or something for Biden for him to drop out. And then he drops out. And then he pushes his DEI pull up that he got the token, Kamala, who is not African American. I don't know why they keep saying that. She's Asian American. Her father is not even African American. Her father is Jamaican. He came out and said, like, his family had no ties to slavery, none of that. So she is not African American. She could be Jamaican American, and she could be Indian American, Asian American is what they normally has always labeled her as. She even said it herself. She never identified herself as African American. When she won the AG, she said herself, I was the first Asian American appointed AG. She never said nothing about being African American. Even in her Wikipedia, like they just start going back, updating all the stuff. And which a lot of you don't know, Wikipedia, and you can actually go in Wikipedia and do updates. Literally, that's why it's not considered a valid source of information, especially when you talk about for the college aspect side of the house for writing papers, because the data can be manipulated. So they throw her out there. No, she's a DEI. They even came out and said they gave Biden a list of black women and say he had to pick one if he wanted to win. So that's what he did. They threw a damn token out there. The best one, why? Because she's Greek. So she's the AKA. I'm not sure what the other ones are, but I know she's an AKA. So what she did, she put her little Converse on. She put her little pearls on. She went out there and started dancing. And then what she had those Negroes out there doing? Had y'all out there dancing. Dancing in the voting lines like a bunch of fools. So now they thinking she can beat Trump, which is not going to happen. So I think this is what's going to happen. They throwing her out there so she can fail. And once they see it's like, hey, you're not getting no traction, we're going to have to go a different direction. Because the DNC is coming up in the next 4 weeks. So that's going to give them about 2 weeks before they're going to decide, nah. But the issue I have is, why aren't the Democrat people Why are they not the ones selecting who they want to be the nominee? Why is it those guys sitting up on Capitol Hill doing it? Why they don't have a runoff so you get the best qualified person? And that's the problem with DEI. That's why it needs to be eliminated. Just like that affirmative action they got rid of, all that stuff needs to get eliminated. The best person for the job. And what it causes people to do is to bust your butt to get to those positions. I had to do it my 28 and a half years in the military. That's what I had to do. As an officer, when I was enlisted, same thing. I couldn't, if I did the bare minimum, I wasn't getting selected for a lot of the jobs I had because you had to be chosen. Literally, you would get phone calls like, hey, we got this position open. We see your records. Do you want this job? And you can say yes or no. And I've never turned no one down. I've gotten numerous positions, brand new positions that just opened, no one ever sat in. And there was enough no DEI because I was black. And in my field, I was electronic warfare, cyber. At that time, there wasn't that many black officers. The African American, whatever you want to call you, label yourself as, there wasn't that many of us. I literally can count on one hand. And I knew the other three besides myself. So there was 4 of us the time that I went through. So now you got your little DI VP. So I said what they need to do is have a runoff. But she went, had her little impromptu stand in front of the people in the so-called Biden call. So let me tell you something I loved about working in cyber and all that stuff. I learned a lot about AI. And in case a lot of you don't know, you actually can make an AI image of yourself. You just have to program it. You have to do the same hand gestures as you do as you move your hands. You have to keep the same cadence in which the way you talk. And it will make a person that looks your word for word, your mouth movements, the way you pronunciate your words, everything to a T. And it takes a while to program it, to do it. But within a good week, you can get a real good AI down. They use it actually for YouTube for scamming people. There's actually ads that's using AI. And if you don't pay attention, you wouldn't even know it was an AI person. And to do it with software is so easy. They just have them talk to record his voice so they can get the inflections and everything. And you can just sit there and type in as if he's talking, and then you can pre-record it. So we're going to get into that so-called phone call, and then we're going to come back and talk about it.
So many of you uprooted your lives for me and the kind of commitment few people make for anything these days, but you made it. And I've been honored and humbled. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. My word is a Biden for all you've done for me and my family. And we built the best campaign in organization in history. I've been doing this, I always kid and say, I know I'm only 40, but I've been around a long time. I don't know of a better campaign organization, grassroots campaign. We have over 230 offices opened. We have over 2,000 paid staff, and we have literally several thousand volunteers on a regular basis, thousands of them. And they've been relentless and tireless in reaching out and contacting voters. The leadership of this campaign has been amazing. Jen O'Malley, Dillon, Julie, Quinn, Michael Tyler, Rob Flaherty, Rufus on raising money, and so many more. You built this team, you brought them together, you brought us together, you've inspired them, and you've done what leaders do. Now we got to, the name has changed at the top of the ticket, but the mission hasn't changed at all. And by the way, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be out there in the campaign with her, with Kamala. I'm going to be working like hell, both as a sitting president, getting legislation passed, as well as in campaigning. What we still need to save this democracy. And Trump is still a danger to the community. He's a danger to the nation. And just ask my foreign policy colleagues, my counterparts, and other people around the world and at home. Look, so I'm hoping you'll give every bit of your heart and soul that you gave to me to Kamala. And I want you to know, I won't be on the ticket, but I'm still going to be fully engaged. I've got 6 months left of my presidency. I'm determined to get as much done as I possibly can, both foreign policy and domestic policy. Keep lowering costs for families, continue to speak out on guns and child care, elder care, prescription drugs, and climate. Climate still is the existential threat that we face, and if we don't win this thing, it's all in jeopardy. And we got to keep working for an end to the war in Gaza. I'll be working very closely with the Israelis and with the Palestinians to try to work out how we can get the Gaza war to end and Middle East peace and get all those hostages home. I think we're on the verge of being able to do that. And we got to keep our alliances together. It's critically important. It took a while for me to build these alliances. Most of these are my colleagues have acknowledged that, but it's critically important for our safety and security.
Now, everyone has heard Biden talk in the past, and everyone noticed how he struggles. Now, call me a conspiracy theorist, whatever you want. I think what happened, what they did was they had him read this off probably multiple times so they can get the cadence down, cleaned it up, because one, you don't hear the, you don't hear none of the struggle. He's rambling off names like this, like popping them off. He's not struggling to say nobody's name, but he's saying, "Oh, no." He said, "Yeah, I'm gonna be out there with Kamala." So if you're gonna be out there with her and doing all this stuff, why would you drop out of the race? Because if you hear him talk the way he's talking now, and just me being honest, like I say, I said numerous times, I don't belong to no damn party. I belong to my own party. I look at your body of work to see what you've done for him since the time he's been in the darn Senate all the way up until till he was vice president and president. Because even as a vice president, people think vice presidents don't have a job. They get certain things that they're in charge of. First, we're going to talk about this one right here, who was put in charge of the border and couldn't even handle that. But you always seen her here laughing and clucking like a damn chicken, sound like a hyena on all these talk shows. And everything she says makes no sense. But people's running, you have all these black women coming up. Why? Because they say, oh, she's African American. She is not African American. She's Asian American. She's Jamaican American. Totally different. Two different things. Go find a Jamaican and call him African American and see, you're going to hear so much patois. They do not like being identified as no African. And they will tell you, I'm Jamaican. Her father came out and said, she's not African American. He's like, I'm Jamaican. I have no ties to Africa. My family don't have no ties to Africa. So that clears that up. But you, like I said, you listen to him, smooth names, just dropping names, no problem. All this other time he was struggling. And he's talking about he's going to be out there in the campaign trail with her. Then why drop out of the race? Why? Get over your COVID and get back out there. Get to work. Now, I want you to listen to what she says. It's going to repeat a couple of times. I had to chop it up a couple of times so you can catch it. And listen to what she says.
It is so good to hear our president's voice. Joe, I know you're still on the call. Joe, I know you're still on the call. Joe, I know you're still on the call.
Joe, I know you're still on the she's going to say recording. And just like him reading up the teleprompter, we saying period, we supposed to stop. She's almost slipped up and said recording. She caught herself and then said the call. But some of these people say she's good enough to run this race. But what I say is, if she was fit, like I said, she's a DEI hire, which if you've seen from her thumbnails, didn't earn it. She slipped her way to the top. Go back, look at all her history of all the men she's been with, from Montel Williams to Mr. Brown, who gave her a job, paying her $80,000 a year at the insurance company because of the position which he was sitting in, gave her Mercedes Benz on top with that. And she was even doing the work that really justified her getting $80,000 a year. She makes it as the AG, locks up innocent black men based off of known fabricated information, evidence, still lock them up. People that were supposed to get out, that were supposed to get released, she wouldn't release them, extended their time, saying that they're pretty much using them to fight fires in California. But nobody will look at her history. But you have these idiots worrying about, saying Trump's a racist. The only thing they can bring up is, the Central Park Five. Trump didn't prosecute them. Wasn't the one that did the interviews. He didn't strong arm them to take plea deals. That was the job of at that time, that was the job of the AG of New York who did that. The only thing he did say is, yeah, they need to go to jail and be locked up forever. Okay. So what? I say that about a lot of damn people. Even black people who's done things. I was like, they should never let his ass out. Let him stay in there. All these jokers talking about, set such free. No, they right where they're supposed to be, in jail. So that's the only thing you can have. But Biden can say, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. But you forget about that. Biden also did the crime bill, which locked up a lot of black men. Oh, yeah, we ain't gonna worry about that. Biden said he didn't want his kids go to predators. He didn't want his kids to go to school with black kids. But y'all ain't worrying about that. And the reason a lot of black people are Democrats is because Democrats give free shit. I'm gonna just say what it is. You get free shit. You get welfare. You get EBT, whatever the hell else you get for free. A lot of you, that's what you like. I know people, like my mother, I know for a fact, my mother would never accept that shit. Now, my mother used to buy it from people, buy the stamps from people, because she didn't pay taxes on it. That, I know she did, because people used to come there, and they say, yeah, I got something for your mom. And then my mom always say, hey, such, come in here, give her this. And I'm like, why am my mom giving her giving her this money? And that's what it was. She was buying food because you didn't pay taxes on it, which was smart. My mother was, I would just give it to her. She was smart. My dad, he was smart. But that's why you have a lot of black people that are Democrats. Free shit. Government that damn government got a bowl or a bucket with their little ladle, and you stand up there like a bunch of slaves with your hands out, and they just, here's a little bit for you. Oh yeah, here's some more free shit for you. Yeah, here's some more free shit for you. And you're eating it up. Instead of trying to stand on your own, get yourselves out of the situation that you in. The people that's causing problems in your area, you refuse to turn them in, because I can tell you what, I've had the police come to my house plenty of times like, hey, you seen this? I'm like, no, hey, when did this happen? Oh, such day. I could check the footage on my cameras and know what I do. I would check. If I seen something that was on there, I'd be like, hey, I don't know what this is. If you bring me a thumb drive, I can give you what I got. And I give it to them. And if it helps them lock somebody's ass up, then guess what? There's one less person I got to worry about coming in my neighborhood. Because I've caught kids going to my next door neighbor's, open up his car. So, same thing with her. Little DEI hire. We don't need more of them. The Democrats need to have a runoff and do it the right way. But if you notice, in 2020, she tried to run, and she dropped out because she couldn't handle the damn heat. And this is what got her to drop out.
And we
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform. That is why we created initiatives that were about reentering former offenders and getting them counseling.
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you were in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Our Democratic Party, unfortunately, is not the party that is of, by, and for the people. It is a party that has been and continues to be influenced by the foreign policy establishment in Washington, represented by Hillary Clinton and others' foreign policy, by the military-industrial complex and other greedy corporate interests.
Senator Harris, any response?
Oh, sure. I think that it's unfortunate that we have someone on the stage who is attempting to be the Democratic nominee for President of the United States, who during the Obama administration spent 4 years full-time on Fox News criticizing President Obama.
That's
who
ridiculous,
has spent full-time,
who has spent
full-time criticizing people on this stage as affiliated with the Democratic Party.
So we're just going to cut through the bullshit. Because that was 2020. But what she said made no sense. She's criticizing her, saying she was criticizing Obama. When President Trump was in office, she was doing the same thing. So was every news channel. So what's the difference? Like, no one is above reproach. You can be criticized when you are in that job. When you come out that job, you still be criticized, because what people are going to do is they compare what you are doing versus what the other person did. Same thing happened in sports. People like to compare. It was like LeBron's playing now, but everything goes back to MJ. When Biden's in the House, he's the president now, but everybody's comparing it to when Trump was in there. The borders was under control. The economy was better. My damn stocks, all my stocks are doing great. Now they look like trash. Gas, I'm in Texas, and it's just because the type of gas I use. I'm paying $4 and some change for gas, which is better than where some places I've been where I seen that it was like $5 and $6. And I'm like, man, no hell I can live here. I can imagine what the cost of living is here. Eviction rates are up because the economy is so bad and everything is costing so much. People are raising prices for rent and everything else, which is forcing people out because they're not making the livable wages. Now they're trying to push this green agenda BS. And you got the tree huggers out here saying, yo, we got to save the earth, but whatever. I don't care. No. Eventually, everything's going to come to an end one day, one way or another. Whether through just Mother Nature or through man. All it takes is a push of a button, the world is done. Because once one pushes it, somebody else is going to push it. And then now, guess what? It's over. So it doesn't matter. Yeah, you could try to save for the next generations, whatever. Got it. But everything always recycles around. That's just the way things happen. But, I want to know what you think, as far as this DEI VP we got up here. They're trying to shove down the mouths of the Democrats. They're trying to use her. I mean, you got other black women that are saying if they don't pick her, the black woman is going to destroy the Democratic Party. That's what you fucking Democrats get for giving them so much power and thinking that they can control everything that's going on. Hell, I'm going to just say it. Some people just can't live with them either. I mean, some of them are... Look at the way a lot of them are talking. They're not married. Or they're probably divorced. They're by themselves. And they sit home with a bunch of cats and dogs. Because no man want to be with them. Because they think they're a man. And when you say that you're going to destroy something, that you as a group, do you know how easy it is for them to target you as a group of black women and make things extremely difficult for you? Because of the very few who wants to run their mouths and think you're running shit, and they're going to show you, you're not running nothing. You forget we're the ones who put you there. And that's just to be honest. In probably about 10, 20 years, to be truthful, the Hispanics going to be running everything. They probably going to be the ones majority. They probably going to be the president. They can be the majority that's up in a lot of these seats in Congress and the Senate. The numbers show that. And it's just based off of reproduction. You look at they having way more kids than everybody else, and they're inside the U.S. So eventually, the number's going to turn. And black people we still going to be at the bottom. Some of us, because some of us actually did the work to get where we're at. We didn't mind busting our butts, getting the education and everything we needed to do. We didn't look for handouts. I never looked for one. I never looked for nobody to assist me in nothing. I ain't somebody throw me no alley-oops. Again, played the game. And when I say play the game, I mean it's educate myself, learning, taking on harder positions, learning about the positions before I got in there, and then do no OJT. Not being looked at or thinking, oh, well, I'm the only black person, so you got to... Trust me, I've been as an officer. I could tell my battalion, there was 2 of us. 2 black officers in the entire battalion. And those of you who've been in the Army, you know how big of a size of a battalion is. 2. And then finally we got a 3rd one. And then we got a 4th one. And then one got sent to another battalion. But in the entire battalion, there was no more than 5 of us. And that was being field artillery. Hell, when I went EW, it was even fewer than that. Like literally, when I say I count my hand, when I went in, there was only 2 at the time, and they were a married couple. And it's just because it was a technical area. A lot of us don't go into those fields. It ain't the Army stopping them. It's just a lot of us don't go into it. But I did. But, hey, like I say, I'd like to know what y'all think. Do you think they need to have a runoff during the DNC and allow the delegates to choose who's going to be the representative for the nominee for the Democrats? Or should they just be able to hoist someone up there and say, pretty much give the people the Heisman and be like, yeah, we don't care what you think. We're going to do what we want to do. So that's all I got. I'll see you around. Like I said, hit the subscribe button, like and comment. I'd like to hear what you think about this whole thing, and I'll see you around.